So are you still a feminist?
Yeah, I'm a feminist.
And what is that exactly?
It's someone who believes and advocates for gender equality.
And what is that?
What is gender equality? People having access to the same rights and opportunities.
Give me an example of what you mean.
I mean, women being able to hold political leadership. I mean, women being able to hold leadership in business. I mean, women not being sexually assaulted. There are many pieces to that.
Do you still agree with me, or maybe you didn't agree with me before, that women were not created to lead but to follow?
Yeah, we talked about that. I don't think so, no. I mean, I think that depends on the individual. Some relationships, some women are more like that. I think I'm a little more like submissive like that, but then some women are more dominant.
But even though they try to be dominated, in reality, they were created to follow instead of lead, right? Even though they try to pretend they're dominated when they're really not. But they're created to follow and not lead, right?
Well, okay, so where are you getting that?
That women were created to follow and not lead.
Mm-hmm.
It's a natural order from God.
So you believe it because it's in the Bible?
I know it because it's true. We really look at the order. You notice that women are below the man and not above. She's below him. She needs him to guide her.
I mean, even in the Bible, doesn't it say like love, like respect thy husband and also love thy wife? Like it is,
right.
There's also a husband's duty to his wife.
Right. He's supposed to love her because if he doesn't love her with the right kind of love, she would be lost.
Mm-hmm. Would he be lost without her?
No.
So men got it all figured out.
Right. Well, they don't have it all figured out yet. They should, but they don't. But a lot of them are working on themselves now, and they're coming back to order the way they should be because the women need the men to be right so that they can get right.
I think, you know what, if two people agree to that, I think that's beautiful. But I think different people are different, and people should do what works for them.
Will you obey your boyfriend or husband when you get one?
I mean, to an extent, not about everything. But I'll listen to him, and absolutely, if he feels strongly about something, I'll trust him.
Should a man marry a woman that does not obey him?
It depends on the man. I think if he's expecting her to obey him in everything and not have her own opinions, that relationship is going to have some problems.
So if she is expected to have her own opinion, he should not marry her because he can't allow her to have her own opinion because they're going to always be wrong. Am I right?
Well, I think, yeah, if a man thinks a woman should not have her own opinion and she wants to have her own opinion, they are not a match.
Right. Absolutely. Amazing, huh? So I wanted to ask you about this study. According to several studies, female depression rate have skyrocketed since the rise of feminism. And I wanted to know, what did you think about that?
I am skeptical of that statistic because we don't know that feminism is causing the depression rise just because they're timed together. It could be better diagnoses, more access to therapy. It could be, who knows, technology, loneliness. It could be a lot of things. Why do you think that it's because of that?
Because women are trying to take on a role that they're not built for. They're not created for. And as a result, it's causing suicidal thoughts, depression, loneliness. A lot of them are not having children, so they regret it later that they don't have children. It's bringing on all those things, which is evil because they have gotten away from their natural state of being.
Well, I don't know if feminism's to blame for that. I wish that we had more, time off for parents who are working and things like that, more social support. I don't know if that's because of women having access to equal rights, though, because they can still make their own choices and be a stay-at-home mom. And you know what? There are some women who judge women for that, but I don't think that should happen, and I certainly don't.
Which is best for a woman if she's married, to be home with her children, with the children, watching over the man's children, or taking care of the house and doing women's stuff, or trying to be a mother and about working and all that, which is best for her?
I think it's best for the child that they have caregivers present. I don't think it has to be the mother. I think it could be the father, it could be the grandparents. I think that it is flexible. I think the most important thing is there is someone around to give the child love.
But only the parents can give the children love. That the keeper or giver don't have love to give the other children.
You think mothers have more love to give?
Well, the father have it. It comes from the father to the mother to the children. No one else can do that. Why would a parent take that kind of risk with the children when the love comes from the parent, not some caregiver or anything?
I don't know if that's true. I mean, some people are raised by their grandparents and turn out fine. You think it's really that rigid?
No, they don't. When they're raised by the grandparents, they're screwed up.
Do you have studies on this?
Yes.
You could send me the studies.
Okay. It's for the parents to raise their children, not anyone else.
I think I think that people are doing their best and they should be present as much as they can, but they also have to provide. There's a lot of responsibilities parents have.
I want to ask you about women, men playing in women's sports.
Oof.
What do you think about that? Should men be allowed to play in women's sports?
Not men, no. You're asking about trans women. That's what you're really asking.
Right.
You know what? I think there are guidelines around that they have to be on estrogen for a certain amount of time. It's not men at that point. It's people who are living as women. And you could look this up. There was actually a study showing trans women are not more likely to win at sports than cisgender women. I think it's not as big a deal as people are making it. It's so few people. And I think we should just let people live their lives.
So you're saying yes to that men should be allowed to play in women's sport?
People who were assigned male at birth, if they transition and are living as women, I think should be allowed, yeah.
You say yes, they should?
Yeah.
But a male that transgendered to so-called woman, he's really still a male. They just took off one body part and put another part on it, right? But it's still a male, and nothing else changed, right?
Other things, well, if they take hormones, and I mean, living in that gender role is a very different experience. It's not just one body part. You know what? They should do more research, keep figuring out, are they actually at an advantage? But it's really not clear right now that this is harming women. And I think we should just let people live their lives.
So just let them play?
I think so.
And should women be allowed to play in men's sport?
By women, you mean transgender men?
Well, I'm really thinking both. Transgender, non-transgender, and all that mess.
Well, yeah, what is people's issue with that? If they think trans women have an advantage, then what advantage do trans men have? I don't see any harm in that.
But women cannot compete with real men in sport. The man has to lower his standard and pretend like the woman is winning.
But who's going to do that just because there's a trans man on their team? I feel like they're just going to focus on winning for themselves. I don't think they're going to do that.
So you're saying trans men, do you think normal women should be able to play in men's sport?
No.
You don't think normal women should play in men's sport, but the abnormal women should be able to play in men's sport?
You know what? If a cisgender woman wants to play in a men's sport, I don't know, maybe they should just have an all-gender league and people should have the option to go into that. Maybe that would simplify things.
Yeah, let them get their own stuff, you know what I mean? Right?
I'm not going to completely agree with you, but that could be one option.
Are you like a just do whatever you want kind of person?
In what context?
Sports, transgender, male, female gender, sex and everything. Just kind of
No.
each person should just do what they want, you think?
Basically, yes. No, I think there should be some rules and regulations, but I'm not convinced it should be what you're proposing. Just only allow cisgender people.
But you do believe there should be some rules and regulation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where does it begin then? Where will we start with the rule if everybody doing what they want?
Well, not everybody's doing what they want. They do have rules, as I said, that usually people have to have transitioned, have to be on hormones living as that gender. So that's what I mean by rules.
Oh, I see. What a mess, huh?
It is messy, but so are people.
There's something else I wanted to ask you about. Hitting the wall. You ever heard that term, hitting the wall? Hitting the wall is a term used to describe the age where women lose their attractiveness and are unable to find men who want to marry them. Have you ever heard? So you never heard that?
I've heard of that idea, just not that phrase.
Oh, what do you think about that idea? Women lose it after a while.
I know women in their 50s, 60s, even 70s, 80s who still have great sex lives and still have men attracted to them. I recently did an article series on sex after 70, and yeah, like women in their 70s and 80s talking about having very fulfilling sex lives. So I don't think that's true.
70 to 80?
Mm-hmm.
How's that possible?
Why would that be impossible? They still have the same body parts. Maybe they've undergone some changes, but there are medical treatments. There's hormone replacement therapy. Not everyone even needs that, but
are they taking Viagra?
men are taking Viagra. Women more often would use something like vaginal estrogen to prevent pain or dryness. That's usually, or lube sometimes. That's usually what women do.
What the? Why would a woman or a man want to have sex after 70?
Well, because it adds happiness to their lives. It helps them connect with their partners. And if you are, like, why not enjoy as much as you can?
As much of what you can?
As much sex or as much pleasure of any sort as you can.
But why at 70 and 80 is kind of time to wind down and live the rest of your life out till you die without sex?
I mean, if someone wants to do that, that's fine. But a lot of people say they have the best sex of their lives at that time because they know themselves better, they can communicate, and they have a deeper relationship with their partners.
I've noticed that a lot of women who are trying to do all this stuff, they're so lonely. You know, they're taking this extra stuff and whatever, but inwardly they're very lonely.
Are you talking about single women or women in relationships?
Both.
They're lonely. Why?
Because they're not really being fulfilled. They take all these different hormone things and do all this crazy stuff. It still doesn't fulfill them. You know, it's not satisfying.
Why isn't it satisfying?
Because it's not the answer to their problem.
What is?
A return to themselves, to truth, to life. You know, there's life that we have inside of us as well. And I noticed that most women don't find that anymore because they're trying to play a role of being manly or smart or trying to lead. Look at the world now. They're allowing the women to take over. Do you agree that the world is going to hell in a handbasket and now women are taking over?
Oh gosh, no. I won't believe women are taking over until women are most of the political leaders and CEOs. So that's clearly not the case.
And what would be considered most?
Majority, over 50%.
So you want 50% of the women to rule the world?
I don't want it, but I'm saying until that happens, I'm not convinced women are taking over the world.
Really? So you don't see all the commercials and you don't see our government and police chief and mayors and commercials. Every time you look around, it's about the woman and not the man. That's dangerous.
Well, I haven't noticed that. Could you give me a specific example?
We have a female for the L.A. mayor, right?
Mm-hmm.
You heard of her? Karen Bass or something like that. She's black.
Mm-hmm.
You heard of her?
I think so.
Look at the mess she's making. She want to cater to the homeless. She want to put them in hotels. She want to be mama to the homeless, where men wouldn't put up with that. They'll make the homeless get out and do for themselves.
But has that worked? I mean, if that were the solution, if men could solve the problem, then wouldn't it already be solved since we've already had male mayors?
That's a good point. But those men have been weak.
So maybe you should run for mayor.
There you go. I was hoping you'd make that suggestion. But in all seriousness, don't you see things getting worse as the women are taking over?
No, I can't say that.
Why can't you say it?
Because as I said, most world leaders are men, most business leaders are men. The argument can't be made that women
I'm
are
not
taking
sure
over.
if it's most businessmen are men now. That businessmen are men because the women are really taking over. And the men are allowing it to happen, and things are only getting worse.
Well, I think I'm not convinced women are taking over, but if there's something you'd like to change, then maybe you should speak up and maybe you should run for office yourself.
One last thing I got to ask you. I should recommend that men never marry an educated woman because educated women don't make for good mothers and wives.
That's sad for me to hear as an educated woman. Can't someone be knowledgeable and warm and nurturing?
No.
No, never. Why
Because
not?
educated women on an ego trip, they want to be equal to men. And so they will never make for a good wife and mother.
Oh. Well, that's sad news because I can't undo my education. But I think...
Would you be willing to drop your education if you found the right man and you become a wife and a mother? And forget about the education?
No, there is no need. You can be educated and still be nurturing and warm and kind, and someone who listens to her husband and respects his education and his knowledge.
How is that possible? That's not even possible.
Oh, yeah, I think it is.
Because the woman thinks she's equal to the man because she has an education.
And in what ways are we unequal that you find important?
God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, and woman over children.
So that's a religious-based belief.
No, that's reality.
And what does that look like, though? Does that mean that you can't have a say in how your children are raised?
No. She should listen to her husband, and her husband, because he's on the right track, doing the right, being right, he's going to always lead the woman in the right way to raise his children. Women can't raise children without the man. She needs the man to lead her.
I think that's kind of a limited worldview. I think that people are more expansive than that, and that we can have all of it, and that
What?
That we can be educated and great wives and great mothers. And it's not about trying to play the man's role or take over for him. It's about respecting him and also respecting yourself and listening to your own feelings.
That's never going to work.
I know.
You can bank on that. There's not one woman that's happy living that way, and it's never going to work. And there's not one man that's in a relationship with a woman like that. It's never going to work. They have a war going on. It's a fight.
No, it's not about having a war.
But it is if that happens.
It's not about trying to be right or to be better. It is about having two full human beings show up, listen to each other, respect each other. And yeah, putting your trust in your husband is beautiful. I would love that. But that doesn't have to mean giving up me.
But you're not your education. Who are you?
I'm a lot of things.
Who are you?
I think I'm my heart and my kindness and my curiosity and my playfulness, and my education is part of it.
But you yet haven't told me who you are. You told me about your education, your emotions, your kindness, your thing, but who are you?
I'm not sure what answer you're looking for.
I want to know, who are you? You just describe all these emotional things about you, your body, your this and that, right? But that's not, who are you? Those are body parts.
Qualities aren't body parts. I mean, well, who would you say you are?
No, I want to find out who you are. Who are you?
Yeah. I think I said I'm a kind, smart.
That's an emotional thing.
Okay.
You're kind and smart, but you're not kind and smart all the time. Sometimes you're not so kind.
That's fair.
So when you're not kind, is that you?
Yeah.
And when you are kind, that's you?
Yeah.
What the?